That actually brings me to the point that I wanted to ask you. So this is something that I've been, and this is a staple within Chris's Sonics, and something that I think you have evolved and like modernized extremely well. I think out of all the incarnations of Chris, your engineering has my favorite example of these. You, and of course, a lot of credit of this between Teezio and Chris. You guys have this very interesting. I don't know if it's a process or what have you, but you guys record doubles and overdubs in a very interesting way, very differently from a lot of mainstream music.
What would be different? Tell me.
So when I'm hearing like, let's say like a Brandy record, just for example, or even a Beyonce record, like I feel like a lot of engineers, they're getting the musicality, they're trying to make it as clean as possible, but obviously the backgrounds are the backgrounds. We don't want them to overwhelm the lead vocal.
Yeah.
When it comes to Chris's stuff, it almost feels like the backgrounds on like consistently every album, they're just kind of ethereal. Like there's a character to them that's different.
Okay.
Almost like when those kind of moments and ad-libs come up, it kind of like the song kind of goes 3D for a moment.
Okay.
For lack of a better explanation.
Yes.
You know?
So part of it could be one thing where I'll take, like, let's say I have a vocal that's a stack, but it doesn't have stacks. I'll put the doubler on there.
Okay.
And I'll take the center out, and I bring the high end down, and I make the two dots go all the way up to the top so it's loud.
Right.
Because it's lower in volume.
And you lower the high end, you said.
And because when you open up that plugin, the high end's boosted up. So I'll lower it down, and that actually creates two things. It creates the double, but it does it with a little bit of like weird phasiness that creates texture. So the way I create texture is things sound different. I don't put this, if you put the same processing on every single thing, they're going to sound too close.
Right.
So if you kind of like make less high end on the backgrounds, you'll hear the difference between the background and the lead a little more, which might add to the effect of the 3D. Right. Another thing is like when I'm stacking, like for lead notes on the hook, the lead note meaning the main note, it's always 4. And the way I pan those is I'll take, let's say for example, they're all at 0. I'll take the two bottom ones of the stacks and I'll pan those hard left and right, and I'll bring them down at a 4 or 5 dB difference from the top one. So let's say the top one's at -2, these would be at -6.
I totally understand.
Right. So the lower ones are panned hard left and right, and the two top ones are panned at 50 or 40.
Right.
And what that does is it creates a pyramid, because if you pan everything hard left and right, you leave an open
space in the middle.
Space in the middle.
Right.
So I actually will take the bottom 2 will be super hard left, down a little bit, and then the other ones will be, so it'll create a pyramid where you're getting the width, combination with the 8th note delay, and you're still getting a center channel, because you want to hear, you don't want to just hear this, you want to hear this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially on a hook.
Right.
Now, there are occasions where I've made certain songs sound like it's all coming from the sides, but that was a case by case basis.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's You're Such a Very Special, it's a Very Special Girl. That song, if you listen to it, it sounds like the vocals are really wide. So I probably did 100, and then I probably did like 60 or 70 on the other one, so that it wasn't, there wasn't a full center. But that created more width, and that was specifically done just for that song.
And your other stack, so say for instance, I know you like the root of the stack will
so
be
the root is 4, and everything else is 2s.
Harmony. Wow.
Now,
okay, so you do 2.
People like to do 4s for everything.
Everything,
You don't really need that, especially today, because less is more. Back in the day, Brandy would do 8 million stacks, and it sounded awesome. But now we want space. You know, like things, we have such what's it called, ADD with shit. That it's like the attention span is lower, so it's like we need to simplify things for listeners. First of all, go ask someone on the street if they know what a harmony is. They won't even be able to tell you. You know what I mean? They'll say, "Oh, I know what a harmony is. It's a harmony." No, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's a harmonization with the main note. So it's like, you don't need, if I want the main note to be the main note, I want to create a difference. So those I'll pan 70 or 80 or sometimes all the way. Like high notes, I'll pan them all the way because I want that high-end candy on the sides. So it's all about tricking your mind into feeling like, you know what I mean? It's like a acoustic or sonic thing.
I'm not gonna lie, and Jair, clip this up. Clip that up. Because when you're describing, for instance, I'll talk about, there's ways to create depth with volume, right? Where it's like, hey, that quiet thing that's in the back helps you understand where that loud thing is in the front. So I'm saying to myself, duh. with a background vocal, I've been traditionally just like hard left, hard right. Okay, there it is. And then I'll have like something up the middle. But when you're saying, hey, turn down the hard left, hard rights, right? Boom. And then the other two, just kind of put them up here. I literally can visualize and see that. And I know how that's going to, I
visualize a pyramid.
Right.
That's what I visualize.
Got you.
Yeah.
Bro,
And I say that to say this.
We gonna go crazy, right?
Respect to
I ain't
the
gonna
man.
lie. We gonna go crazy.
Because I saw this clip going viral.
What?
We know Michael Jackson did 16 stacks.
Oh, you talking about Rodney?
Thank you, Rodney.
For sure.
My brother.
Guess what? That was that time.
That was that time. Yeah.
Bro, you are making a Jersey Club record. You do not need 16 stacks.
100%. But that goes back to I saw Michael do that. This a 808 ass. Like, it's not a Michael song.
I hear you, it's different.
I saw him do that. I got to do it on mine. Like, you can take from things, but don't just say this is what I do to everything because I see this. And I don't want anyone to do it on my. I don't want you guys to look at my shit and be like, that's how I'm always going to do myself. I'm always going to do that.
Right.
I change things sometimes, based on the record.
Right. You try new things, I'm sure too, and stuff like that.
What happened?
I said you try new things too.
I try new things, like try that, like with an ad lib, like I might change the format a little bit.
Okay.
Just because, and you may not notice it right away that the vocal's deeper, but it'll sound like a little bit of separation from the lead.
Right.
Yeah.
More reverb as well.
Right.
Things like that to make you be able to contrast things. That's my biggest thing is contrast.
Right. Understood.
Chris has been doing this thing on, I feel like the last 2 albums where he'll play with the format on the lead vocal.
Yes.
And make it like low.
Well, actually,
like
I'll tell you something. There's a song called Mind. Oh, Make Up Your Mind.
Okay.
On 11:11. You see how I have to kind of like play it in my head.
Yeah,
and I know what it is.
I heard that right. Yeah.
So that actually came from when we were writing it.
Okay.
So when we were writing it, like the writer, his name's Rocco. He's fire fucking writer.
Oh, okay.
He came to my house the other day. He's
nice.
the nicest kid. They did that intentionally, where it was like, and then it goes down, and then the lead, and it was, and then when we cut it, Chris wanted the exact same thing on his fucking vocal.
Wow, so he just kept that right there, like what it was.
He's really about matching. Like if you get a demo and like there's a lot of fucking reverb, like he wants a lot of reverb.
Yeah.
Because what made you draw to that record was the essence of the record.
I get that.
And so if you say this record has a lot of reverb and then you take it all away, I no longer have the attachment like I did to the demo or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So sometimes like there's records where his vocal sounds thinner. And it's usually because in the recording process, that was the vibe we were going for. And then in the mixing process, I kept the essence.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like you can argue like, oh, well, he's not supposed to sound like that. Like, okay, he's not supposed to do a lot of things. Like he can do all types of shit. You know what I mean? He does not have to always sound exactly the same. And that actually creates a little bit of versatility where you're like, wow, I really like how he sounds here, and I really like how he sounds there. Like we were talking about the Nightmare shit. I've never underwatered a lead vocal on a hook for him.
Right.
Wow. But we were like, yo, and I think this was also JP when they were recording it. He had made that vocal more filtered, and I just added to it and made it like more reverby and stuff like that.
Right.
Because he's talking about being in a nightmare.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to create that feeling that, and it was like, well, Chris isn't supposed to sound like that.
Right.
Well, for this song, he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? It's fucking art.
Right.
Like,
facts.
And listen to that, people in the comments. It's fucking art. Thank you.
It's art. It's like, it's subjective. Like, who cares? You know? Like,
on the intro for the last, not 11:11, Breezy.
for Breezy.
What's that?
Wheels Fall Off.
For which
Till
one?
the wheel fall.
I knew you was gonna bring that up with Capella. Yeah.
When it's like it's the switch in the hook.
Yeah.
Like then I lay me down to sleep, and it feels like regular Chris,
but it's like
and it goes down.
Yeah, but that pitch feels like the format. The format.
You know
that's
what
you was talking about.
Yes.
That's the song
you
I
know
was
why?
thinking
You
about.
know why? Hold on.
Why?
It's because Friday worked on that record with him.
I knew it. Oh, because that's
Jinx,
It
motherfucker.
sounds like because it has that sound. Like,
Yes,
yeah, like Friday.
Yeah, and again, when we work with Friday, we're writing, and Friday's laying some vocals down, and however he does it, we want to keep that essence. That was the magic that was happening in the room, and that goes across the board for anything. Artist, anything you're working on. That spark and magic that sparks the record, you have to keep that. Once you throw that away, I don't supposed to sound like that. That's wrong. Then you fuck it all up, and then you get the "What's your kill fee?" Yeah. And that's the worst sentence you could hear. It was, what's your kill fee? That means we're not using your mix. We're going to pay you a little fee to get you off our backs.
Yeah. Holy, that's a crazy. For you to hate like somebody saying, yo, I'm just going to pay you off. You like, yo, bro,
don't touch
you know how you got to bring that.
Don't touch here. I'm going to give you some money. Go away. That's the worst shit.
That's really it. Yo, you got to bring it over to the Bronx. That's the deaded fee.
That's we're going to bring that down.
Bring that over to the engineers world.